Let's set a baseline that expectations were high, and we got a raised forecast, and it doesn't seem to have been good enough.
Yeah, precisely. I think your previous guest did an incredible job of outlining exactly what went down. Listen, results were great. They were tremendous. I think in any other tape, this name would be trading a little bit higher. I just think expectations got a little ahead of themselves. So she was very prudent last night, raising GPU guidance from $3.5 billion to $4 billion. Again, we heard that the buy side was looking for closer to 6, maybe even 7. Long story short is we're sticking with it. We like it down here. There are other levers to pull. Also, too, if you're a massive hyperscaler looking to secure as many chips as possible, you definitely want to diversify your offerings instead of just having all your chips in one basket with NVIDIA. You think there should be other people that supply your chips, and I think AMD probably fits that bill.
Can you go into the other levers that you just said that they have to pull? What in particular do you want to see pulled, Daniel?
That's a great question. So the gaming side was actually one lackluster area for next quarter, but I think more importantly, going forward, there's potential for an enterprise refresh, especially on the back of COVID. A lot of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies have old legacy systems that they have to rip and replace. That could bode well for them in the second half of 2025 or even earlier 2025.
Okay, interesting. I want to pivot away, therefore, not just away from AMD, but more broadly looking at the cloud and some of those hyperscalers that you say are going to be the end demand for an AMD. Amazon today coming out looking really strong when it comes to its AWS, when it comes to its AI focus. Is more broadly that the lever that you want to see continuing to be pulled by Andy Jassy?
Yeah, so that conference call last night was one of the most bullish I've listened to really in years, maybe on the back of the Meta one from two quarters ago. Jassy basically said that this opportunity with AI is almost as tremendous as anything he's ever seen, and they're willing to spend tens of billions of dollars to reap the rewards later on, and they're not afraid to spend. And I wouldn't bet against these guys. We've literally seen it for 18 years. They identify a massive technology, they invest aggressively, profits and margins get hit a little bit, but then later on, profitability hockey sticks as everybody comes to realize these guys are ahead of the curve. I think the same thing's going to happen with Amazon, and I also think the spending bodes very, very well for the supply chain names, for example, like the NVIDIAs and the AMDs of the world, because they're the arms providers for this AI race. So I think in general it's positive for the entire AI ecosystem.
Daniel, I'm interested in that thesis. You said it was the most bullish call from Andy Jassy and Brian Olsavsky you've heard in some time. Was it light on details, though? I mean, think about what you just said. The one thing we didn't hear is any sort of tangible number for CapEx, other than Brian saying it will be meaningfully higher in 2024.
Right. I think that's a great question. And I don't think they wanted to pigeonhole themselves with just specifically quantifying it. The fact that they used overwhelming or significant, I think that gave them room to kind of fall down later on. At the end of the day, they know that there's a massive opportunity. They're okay to spend aggressively to take advantage of that. One thing that I think that could be different this time is back in previous investment cycles, they didn't have as much profitability as they do now, right? Amazon has multiple mature businesses, right? It's not just retail. They have retail. They have AWS. Now they have advertising. They have logistics. They have all these other profitable businesses that I hope or think that could blunt the impact of profitability. And also, too, on the call, they reiterated over and over again that they think they can do both. They think they can be efficient, and they think they can drive growth at the same time. Let's see if they can thread the needle. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't bet against these guys.
If AWS is the cash cow and the bright spot for everyone, what's the next best thing in the multifaceted business, Daniel?
That's a great question. I really don't know. I think it's AWS for now. One area that was weaker last night in terms of guidance, I don't even think really matters. They said that the European consumer was lackluster, which hurt top line. I don't really talk to any investors that are concerned much about their European consumer business. So again, I think the focus is on AWS. But going a little deeper, the operating profit for the retail business was tremendous. Like, this was their bread and butter 10 years ago, and it's like they're growing past that now. And to AWS, I think it's just to Spencer's point earlier, it's just going to continue to drive the bottom line, and the entire ecosystem is just going to get better.
And meanwhile, they're not particularly articulating CapEx when it comes to the amount of spending, but what we can glean from Microsoft, from Amazon, from IBM, from anyone that's providing some sort of cloud offering is that they are spending, and they're spending big. What do we therefore worry about or be optimistic about when it comes to NVIDIA that's coming, or the other big chip names that need this sort of exuberance to suspend the market cap that we've continued to see?
You know, that's a great question. We kind of say that it's the trillion-dollar question, right? Is how many more quarters are these AI spenders going to get the hall pass from investors until, hey, show me the money, show me the ROI. If you spent tens of billions of dollars on this AI build-out, when are we going to get paid back? The jury's still out, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen just yet. However, last night, Andy Jassy did say a few times that they're already seeing billions of dollars of AI-related revenue on AWS. So that's, I don't even want to say it's green shoots, but they're already making a good headway in that segment. And if you remember last week, we had amazing Azure numbers. Microsoft Azure actually accelerated year over year on a big number. Google Cloud obviously continues to do well. So we've now heard from 3 of the major cloud providers, 3 of the world's biggest hyperscalers come back with really tremendous results. It gets me pretty bowled up on the space.